friends, welcome back to Black Hills Connection podcast. Now, on our brains, heavy right now is back to school. So we have Tracy Palecek, and we've seen you a lot of places around town, on TV, every place. You're a licensed professional counselor, and you have your own practice.
Yes.
And you do a lot of good stuff in the community. I've seen you speak many times. So back to school and kids.
Yes.
Okay. So my first question, how can kids tackle back to school, like the newness, or like let's say somebody's going into middle school for the first time or going into high school,
Wow.
like those nerves. I mean, I try to put myself back there as like a middle schooler, and that was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
So yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk nerves.
Let's talk nerves. Yeah. Boy, middle school, probably developmentally, clients report and kids report, because I did do a lot of counseling with kids. They report most difficult time. You're really heading from that elementary age into this whole thing. It's more rigorous academically. Often you're switching to 6 or 7 classes. You have to do a locker. You're just starting to navigate relationships and friendships and all the things, and you're often getting into a school that's very large to navigate as well. So I think a good way to encourage your kids, if you have that age, or to talk to them, is just to give them a good, normalize it. Hey, when I went into middle school, I was really nervous about friends. I was nervous I was going to find my class. I was nervous what people were going to think. You might see a lot of activity around having the right backpack, having the right, I need to have a certain pencil. I want to have a comfort item. Help them identify something. It's a pin on their backpack. Make sure they know the expectations of things and help walk them through it. But normalize it. Say it's normal to be nervous. Remember how you felt going in to, 6th grade, 5th grade. Remember how you went this way. Just normalize that it's okay. Also expect that they're going to be exhausted when they come home at the end of the day.
Yes.
It's usually emotional exhaustion, but I think managing the nerves from a parent standpoint, we tend to ask a bunch of questions and get in there and kind of tell me, how was your day? Da, 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 da. And I think it kind of can go like that. So sometimes just having a talk beforehand, like, hey, I might check in with you. I might ask you how it was. And if you don't want to chat, but if you just want to sit, that's fine too. Or what was a fun thing today? I like to give my kids something to look forward to after school, especially sometime during the first week. Like usually we pick ice cream day, and I'll pick them up after school, or something to look forward to, special dinner, something where they can process it. But I would say normalize feeling anxious. If they high school kids, what I hear about most is, I think that's a different world as well, but often they find high school, the environment's a little more lax. They're treated a little bit more like younger adults. They have a little bit more freedom. So I think helping them manage that might be good. Like in Rapid City, we don't have open districts till sophomore year, but it might be about phone expectations or new friends or making new friends. But I would just normalize that they will have some anxiety, and that it's normal to feel that way for a few days, a week, 2 weeks, till they get it down.
Because I have heard, you're not supposed to say, oh, don't be nervous, you're fine. Like, you're not supposed to say that, because it's kind of like taking that away from them.
Right.
No, like, you can feel nervous. It's normal. So that's kind of what you're saying.
My kids think it's the most cringiest thing when I disclose like situations from middle school or high school, like how I felt nervous or what I wore. And I remember telling my daughter this story about how everyone told me that they wore makeup in 7th grade. And so I put on dark green eyeshadow and horrible makeup, and I showed up the first day of 7th grade and no one else was wearing makeup. And I went to the bathroom and washed it off. But later my daughter was like, I really appreciated that you told me that. So I think it's good to sort of humanize, yourself a little bit with an appropriate story that, they can relate to.
Yeah. And just be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. What's a daily habit that sets the tone for a great school year?
For kids and or parents or both?
Sure.
I think parents are driving this train, and I think we have to parent to our personalities, right? So we have some parents who really focus on order. I like to kind of do a combination. I think a good routine most often is sleep is so important. It's really hard. Bedtimes are sort of hard, and parenting varies But studies show for kids in middle school and high school and even elementary school, they really do need to have like 10, 11 hours of sleep. But it's harder to shut their brains off in middle school and high school. So
Mm,
a lot of downtime. We do recommend taking away electronics about an hour before bed because we do see some results with that.
sure.
But I also um, I also encourage parents, especially, to say, look, you don't have to go to sleep, but you have to be in your room and be quiet with the lights low. You can
Mm-hmm.
read, you can draw. This is your time to wind down because it kind of gives them space to find what helps them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough of a routine that, like, we're all kind of doing this
Winding
at the
down.
same time. So I would
Yeah.
say sleep. I would say also don't be too hard on yourself as a parent. You have a
Mm.
transition period just like they do for back to school, especially. So
Yes.
to expect people being tired and cranky, don't kill yourself making sure
Mm.
everyone's at the dinner table with like the
Mm.
most nutritious organic meal you can. Like, let's just grace ourselves through the first couple of
Yes.
weeks. Let's just set the normative things. Let's look at
Yes.
what the natural routines are with yourself and with
Mm.
with your kids, and then see where I can anchor to a good routine. I would prioritize sleep in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. I would prioritize getting up in time so people feel like accidents can happen, things can be
Prepared.
forgotten, and we're still on the road.
Yes.
Um, but also give yourself grace. It is crazy
Uh,
getting kids ready. It's crazy getting them to school. It's crazy all this.
yes.
So give yourself a little grace.
Oh, I like that. Thank you for that. Just hearing that makes me feel a little bit better. Because I feel like I'm the parent who's like, it's this time o'clock. We gotta, you gotta, like, what do you need to go to bed? Like, like so much stress. I'm like, go to bed, go to bed. But then that's stressful. So you kind of touched on it there, but the morning routine,
Ooh,
why is that just so hard?
it is so crazy.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. Well, I think for a lot of us, if they're on the bus, they have to be there so early,
Oh
right?
goodness, yeah.
You have to get yourself ready for work so often. You're
Right.
getting up. You worry about, are they eating? What are we doing? How
Yep.
much do you have to drive? How much do they have to drive? Um, I I think I do a lot of hacks. Two of my younger kids have ADHD, and so my son, for example, like, he would have a lot of trouble getting moving and doing some
Mm.
stuff. So kind of honoring that, we try to do as much as possible with him the night before, to the point that, for example, getting dressed. So he will shower the night before, put on his clothes for tomorrow, get into a clean bed, and he sleeps in them as his pajamas and goes to school the next day. Okay, he's in 7th grade. That's working for him right now.
Right.
I'm like, listen, this saves so much trouble in the morning.
No kidding.
Okay, be creative. My other
Mhm.
daughter wouldn't dream of doing that. So she wants to get up a little earlier. She wants to ease into her day. So I just kind of
Mhm.
honor a little bit of their natural rhythms. And then what do I
Mm.
need in the morning? Am I going to get
Mm.
up and do yoga? No. I'm like waking up at the last possible moment.
Right.
But I do want to have my coffee. I do want to, like, make sure things are running. So
Mhm.
I think just the routine that honors enough about your mental wellness and how
Mm.
you can enter the day, and maybe what your kiddos kind of need to get the job done, to get it
Sure.
to to reach the destination.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've heard like other different hacks, like, oh, play like a fun song. But I'm like, who's got time to like play a song on their phone? I'm just like, I'm trying to keep the time and do all these things. And I feel like no matter how prepared you are, like the clothes out, the backpack is
oh
ready,
my
the lunch is
gosh.
ready, the snack is ready. And then it's time to get ready. And now they're fighting.
Oh
And now they
yes.
want to play with the dog. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't have time for that now. We got to get out
My
this door
gosh.
and wear your shoes at. You know,
Yeah, the shoes are
get
always a
our
big thing
shoes.
because we train our kids to come in and we have a mudroom, right? Take off your shoes
Yes.
so we know where they are.
Yes.
So that was another hack I did too, because I just noticed that there was a lot of stress around, I don't know where my shoes are, something's missing, we're going to miss the bus, we're missing
Mhm.
something. So that was one hack I did too, was, hey guys, once you have your shoes on, your backpack packed, your coat on, then you can have screen time. So even though they had
Oh,
some shoes on in the house or whatever was happening, it was like, we're sitting here ready to dart out the door. It gave
okay.
me enough of a window to that if we forgot something or something happened. So that was another hack I did in the
So
morning.
kind of like get all the things ready first, and then if you want to watch a little
And then
TV
you can
or
have a
screen.
reward
Oh, okay.
before we're going. So that was
That's a good
motivating
idea.
for them to like get all that done
Yeah,
and not do it
yeah,
right as
last
we're
minute,
walking
because
out the
that
door.
is stressful.
Oh
That's
my
stressful.
God.
We don't need that stress.
Yeah.
Okay, how can parents support their child's learning outside the classroom? That's always a big issue. My kids are still pretty young yet, but they sort of have homework, and it's like, okay, buddy, you got to read now for 20 minutes.
Mhm.
I don't want to read. I don't, I mean, it's just right, and then
Oh
you
my
just feel like you're
gosh.
nagging your
Right.
kids. You already nag your husband. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
like, what do we do with that?
I feel like I always have to give two answers to this one too, because I feel like when we honor things like neurodivergence, right? You've got kids that have ADHD, autism. We have about 40% of neurodivergence exists in the general population in
Wow.
schools. We also have 40% of kids in poverty. Right now,
Mm.
55% of all the kids in the Rapid City School District qualify for free or reduced lunch.
Wow.
So, I feel like I need to speak to all of us mothering in this
Mhm.
space because, for those of us who have the luxury of being able to kind of help routines and it's not a resource issue or a work issue at night,
Mhm.
I think homework is big, but your kids spend all day really, really working
Yes.
hard, whatever they're doing. So to come home and spend a lot of time doing that is difficult. So again,
It
I
is.
would ask them, hey, do you want to take a little break and then hit some of this homework? Does your kiddo
Mm.
work better with 15-minute increments and we take a 5-minute break? If
Mm.
you have the luxury of figuring that out and working with them, I would recommend it.
Mm.
If you're in a situation where you don't have as many options living in those other choices,
Mhm.
um, I would reach out to the teachers to McKinney-Vento program. I would say,
Mm.
like, the homework is really difficult for us to do at night because of these circumstances. Is there another way we can do this?
Sure.
Sometimes I've had parents work with classrooms where, hey, we do better if we can do a bigger chunk on the weekend where I'm there to help them.
Oh, yeah.
Can we make that accommodation? It's not always
Mm.
possible, but I would think outside the box. But I would honor some energy. I would put rewards in there. I would
Mm.
shorten the time, give them a break, especially the younger they are. The
Mm.
older they are, you're going to see what their capabilities are to sort of do it on their own to keep it
Mm.
up.
Okay.
But that would be my advice.
I like that. Rewards. I like
Yeah,
that. That's a
that's
good.
my parenting style, threats and bribes. That's my whole
Yes.
parenting book. 2 words.
Hashtag threats and bribes.
What's
Threats and
working? Is the
bribes.
threat working? Okay, we're going with it.
Then we're going the
Is the
other way.
bribe?
Yeah.
Is it both? Carrot and the stick.
Which
Yes.
one's working? Okay. Let's see what I have. What's the best free resource most parents don't know about?
Free resource for
Um,
homework.
I don't know. Cut that part out. Are there resources? I feel like you kind of touched on it there.
Yeah,
Reaching out to the counselors and the teachers, like, can you work with me on this or that? What can we do? Can we save homework for the weekend? Like, what's the
absolutely.
compromise there?
I think especially, it's a lot easier to communicate with your teacher when your kids are in elementary school because it's usually one main teacher that's
Hmm.
kind of has a read on everything.
Sure.
Once you get to middle school, that really becomes a chore, right? And to expect
Mm.
our sixth graders to go to 6 or 7 different teachers and be
Mm.
like, I'm really struggling here, or articulate what their issues are is I think a little bit high expectations at like sixth or seventh grade. So
Sure.
I would recommend that the parents reach directly out to the teacher first.
Hmm.
Just send an email, say, here's what I'm noticing. Is there a way we can do this a bit differently to fit what I'm seeing here?
Mm.
Most of the time, the teachers are wonderful. I think they would absolutely work with you. And if there wasn't some obstacle, I think they would identify that.
Mm.
The other resources that you have available at the school, I kind of mentioned our McKinney-Vento program.
Hmm.
For those parents who are really struggling or that working poor, really struggling with some resource issues, transportation, childcare,
Mm.
maybe school supplies or things like that, this is a wonderful program and they have a coordinator at every school. So they can just
Mm.
call the school office and say, who's our McKinney-Vento representative?
Okay.
So then they can connect parents to other resources that could
Right.
even down to homework help,
Mm.
different things like that, or food,
Food, clothes.
clothes,
Yeah.
different things that they might need to
Hmm.
solve at that time too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point. Let's see. Okay. How can parents avoid the mad dash in the morning? We talked about that.
You don't avoid it.
No, wait. Sorry, I gotta read this. How do you know when kids? Oh, okay. We kind of touched on this too, but how do we know when kids are overscheduled? Because do we want to go there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
That's a really good question. I think American parenting is really emphasizes maximizing every moment. We optimize, we schedule.
Yes.
I think we feel this urge to do it. We have some special interest sports, team sports, club sports. Then we have um, homework, and we have volunteering, and we have all these things. And sometimes I feel like we have an urgency to do it. I don't think kids, depending on their age, always know how to express that they're feeling overscheduled. I think parents can look for a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Are they losing pleasure in activities they used to like? Is the sports just feeling more like a chore? Is it feeling more stressful? Are they worrying more about performance and less about hanging out with friends? Is there not a good combination of both? Do they seem physically tired? Do they seem disengaged in other things?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can come across as anger, frustration. Are they complaining a lot about stomach aches or muscle aches? Sometimes that can be an indication of anxiety in kids that just don't know how to use the word anxiety or worry.
To verbalize it.
Asking questions, taking your kids out for donuts and saying, "Hey, do you worry about anything? Do you know what do you worry about?" Kind of phrasing that to sort of gauge what they're struggling with might be good. I also employ this tactic. I have a 18-year-old son and I have a 12-year-old son, and my 12-year-old son thinks my 18-year-old walks on water. So I frequently deploy the 18-year-old to take him out for brother's lunch, and I say,
Aw.
talk to him about this, ask him how school's going, ask him if he's
Yeah.
worried about anything, and then if he asks for your advice, I want you to answer exactly how I would answer. No pressure.
Right?
I'm going to reward you with like a Subway gift card. Again, bribes.
Right. Hey, gotta take it
But
when
I
you can.
think kind of creating a space for them, if it might be harder for them to talk to you for whatever reason, the developmental stage, that creating some support systems that they might talk to, and being able to get that might work in some situations too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I feel like my kids, like you said, they get in the car. How was your day? Yeah, don't ask that.
Yeah,
They always
isn't
say,
that
don't ask that. And it's not till like bedtime, nighttime, and it's like all of a sudden the worms are out of the can. It's like, oh, now we're
yes.
talking about this when it's bedtime. Okay.
That's such a good question. A lot of times, when you talk to kids about this, that's the time where they're relaxing, right? And also, that's the time where their brain can go.
Mm.
So they will frequently, you're going in to tuck them in, or you're going to go say goodnight, and they're like, "Can I talk to you about something?" And it's this disclosure time, right?
Right.
And so I think that's a really healthy sign that they trust you, that
Mm.
they're doing that. You don't have to be the perfect problem solver. Most of the
Mhm.
time, parents get really nervous about this, and my advice is, when you don't know what to say, or you're put on the spot, or you might want to give good advice but you need some time, sometimes it's just reflect back the feeling.
Mm.
So, buddy, it sounds like you're really worried that your friend is going to keep sitting at the other lunch table and that you might not be friends anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, and then they'll usually talk. So if you don't know what to say, reflect back what
Mm.
you heard,
Mhm.
and then I would say resist the solving.
Oh,
It's
so
so hard.
though.
It's like,
so
I know.
hard.
Trust me, I have to do it too. But I think resist the solving by saying, and you're nervous too. So you don't want to, you might not know what to say to solve it.
Right.
And there's no solving, right?
And you don't want to like get it wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, what can I say?
Or
That's
you worry you're going to make it worse, right?
yeah.
I think I would just resist solving and saying, like, it sounds like, would it make you feel better if we invited your friend over for this weekend, and you could look forward to that and hang
Mm.
out with him? Maybe kind of adjacently suggest something, or
Mhm.
encourage. I think that they're probably just figuring out the lunch table, and I think you're gonna figure this out.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
don't worry so much, but I think the reflecting back and normalizing is probably the best thing that we can do in those
Okay.
situations.
Fair enough. Okay, I like that. Okay. That was all for my questions. Is there anything else you want to add? Parenting advice 101.
Oh my
No, just
gosh,
kidding.
no, that's
Just
threats and
kidding.
bribes.
It's
That's
huge. Threats and bribes, people.
I guess that
Yeah.
you said something that was interesting too, because we always say, "How's your day?" And
Yes.
because we want to know,
Yeah.
who'd you sit with at lunch? What, we
What'd
want to
you
hear the
talk
whole
about? What
rundown,
happened?
like,
Yeah.
or sometimes when we're worried about a kiddo, especially if one of our kiddos is struggling,
Mm-mm.
when they get in the car, sometimes we're like, "Hey, did you get in the red today?
Yeah.
Did you get talked to?"
Did
You kind of
your math
launch.
test? Did you pass your math
Yes,
test?
we kind
Yeah.
of launch because we're
It's
optimizing,
true.
right?
It's
So
true.
I would just encourage you to be like, no, resist that urge. Think about the relationship first. So when they get in the car, smile.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, how are you? Because sometimes we forget these are our favorite people in
True.
the world.
True.
And they get in the car and we're like, all right, let's do this. We're in the
Oh,
car.
yeah,
We're
eat this so we can go here, do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just train yourself to smile and say something like, didn't anybody do anything funny today?
Right.
Or ask a really quirky question
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, uh, I bet you were so kind today, or something that they might have talked about before that's adjacent, but just
Sure.
resist the
Yeah. The
how did this
jumping
go?
on them.
What
Yeah.
did this go?
Well, it's funny you mention that because my husband does this like trick thing, and the kids figured it out by now. But he'll be like, "Oh, I heard about the lunchroom. What happened today at the lunchroom? Oh yeah, can you remind me? Tell me how that story goes." And he'll do
Nice.
this like reverse psychology thing, and it really does work. And they're like, "Oh, you mean when like Jackson spilled his milk? Yeah, what happened?
What was up with Jackson,
And
man?
and then they go into this whole thing, and you're like, and I'm like, wait, I just had a car ride with you, and you never told me any of that. You kind of just
Mhm.
got to know how to like ask it, I guess. But they
Mhm.
kind of run to his tactics now, so I don't know.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
But it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Got to give
Great.
it to him.
Great.
Okay, so where can people find you, or like if they want counseling, or
Oh my gosh. Yes.
everyone needs counseling,
Everyone
right?
does. I have a therapist.
Jeez.
I recommend it to
I love it.
everyone.
I love it.
Yep, you can email me, Tracy, or paleczektherapy.com.
Okay.
Email's the best way to get a hold of me.
Mhm.
I encourage people who, need some advice or in this stressful time of parenting to,
Mhm.
or think their kiddo might benefit to reach out. I think right now a lot of us are really full because there's a lot of demand, but it's worth it to reach out. Psychology Today is a great website. You can
Oh.
you can go on there and filter for the insurance you have, the type of
Mm.
therapy, the descriptions of people who serve. So
Okay.
it's a good place if you're looking for therapy. And of course, if anybody has questions or wants a referral for somebody, they can certainly catch me at paleczektherapy.com.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today,
You're
Tracy.
welcome. Great to
Appreciate
see
it.
you.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.